This is a video lesson for Lesson 2 of our Angles and Planar Figures unit. The Lesson 2 learning target is I can use right angles to determine whether angles are equal to, greater than, or less than right angles. And also we're going to be working on drawing right, obtuse, and acute angles. So we're going to get started by defining the three different types of angles that we're able to draw and look at when we're dealing with angles. So the first type of angle we have is a right angle. So a right angle we could think of as a square corner, and typically we see a right angle with a little square drawn in the corner, kind of like right here. This angle, a right angle, measures 90 degrees. So these are really commonly found in the world around us. If you're looking at a door or a window, typically you'll see a lot of right angles. The next kind of angle is an acute angle, and an acute angle is any angle that is smaller than 90 degrees. So you can see how this looks like it's a little bit smaller than our right angle over here. And the way that we can remember that an acute angle is small is we can think of a little saying, acute little angle. So think of things that are small as typically cute, and an acute angle is smaller than 90 degrees. And the last type of angle that we have is an obtuse angle. Obtuse angles are bigger than 90 degrees, and you can almost imagine it opening up larger than 90 degrees. So you can see the difference between an obtuse angle here and our 90 degrees right here. So these are the three different types of angles that we're able to work with. And so we're going to be showing how we can determine if an angle is right, acute, or obtuse. So in order to do that, we're actually going to need to create a template for a right angle. And I'm going to be creating a template using, I'm going to actually be creating three templates, and we can use any old scrap of paper to make a template. So in order to create a right angle template, what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of paper and you're going to fold it in half. And you can fold it any direction. Just fold it so you make a nice firm crease along one side. And then once you've made that fold, you're going to fold the paper again, but you're going to make sure that you fold along the crease so that the crease lines up with itself. So here's my fold right here. I'm folding it so that it lines up with itself, just like that. And then the corner that I have, here's my folded crease here. And the second fold that I've made has created a 90 degree or right angle. So this angle right here is a right angle. So I can use this to determine if angles are right angles or not. So once again, I can show you with a different scrap of paper. I'm just going to make a fold, and I can make it any which way I choose. So I've made my fold right here. I'm going to fold along so the line that I've folded along is even. And so I've lined up my fold right here. Make sure it's nice and even. I make a nice hard crease again. And you can see that I've created another right angle template. So this corner right here is a right angle. And you can see the similarities between these two templates that I've made. So one more time, this time using a really odd looking scrap of paper. I just ripped this off of a piece of paper. I can make a fold. Make sure the fold is nice and crisp, and then I can make another fold along that fold so that I'm lining up the folded line that I've created. Make sure that it's nice and even, and I have created another right angle template. So this corner right here is a right angle. So obviously I can't use some of these other corners. They're kind of mismatched and odd looking, but I've created one 90 degree right corner template. So now that I've created these templates, I can determine if different angles are obtuse, acute, or a right angle. So I have three different angles right here, and I'm going to be using my first right angle template to see if I have a right angle, an obtuse angle, or an acute angle. So I'm going to start with this first angle right here. I'm going to make sure that my the right angle corner of my template goes right into the corner here. And if it fits snugly inside the angle, like my template does right now, then I know that I'm dealing with a right angle. So this angle right here, this first angle, since my template fits snugly right inside, I have a right angle. So this angle is a right angle. So let's go on to the next one here. I'm going to line up one of the sides of my template along one of the lines of the angle here. And you can see when I do that that there's this little gap. The other side doesn't fit exactly along the second line. And so if my template fits inside the angle, kind of like it does right now, that means the angle is larger than 90 degrees, meaning that the angle is obtuse. So this is where the template fits inside the full angle, or there's this gap between one of the sides of the template and the angle. So we have an obtuse angle right here. Finally, we have our last angle here, and you might have already guessed which kind of angle we have. And once again, I'm going to line up my right angle template along one of the sides. And in this case, we have the other line of the angle completely covered by our right angle template. And so if this is the case where the other line fits inside the template, that means it's smaller than 90 degrees, meaning that we have an acute angle right here. So we can use our right angle template to measure to see if we have acute angles, if we have obtuse angles, or if we have a right angle, if it fits snugly right inside along both of the lines of the angle. So this is a helpful tool to help us determine which kind of angle we're dealing with, especially when the angles are kind of close to one another. So it could be really close to a right angle, but actually be obtuse. Or it could be really close to a right angle, but actually be acute. So it's a helpful tool. So the last thing we're going to do is we're actually going to be talking about how we can draw right angles, obtuse angles, and acute angles using our right angle template. So if I'm going to be using my right angle template to draw a right angle, what I could do is I could just use it as a straight edge, and I can draw one line along the right angle here, and then one line along the other side here. And then when these two connect, and I remove my right angle template, I have created a right angle. Okay. Similarly, with an acute angle, we know that it would fit inside the template, so I can just create one of my straight edges along the edge of my template here. And then I'm going to use a protractor here as a straight edge, and I know that it needs to fit inside the template, so I'm just going to make sure that my straight edge, my second line, is somewhere inside of this template. So I'm going to make it smaller. And then I make those two lines connect, and I have created an acute angle. So if I use my template again, you see that the angle goes inside of the template, meaning it's smaller than 90 degrees. And the last angle we have is an obtuse angle. And once again, I'm going to start with the first line from my right angle template, using it as a straight edge. And then I want to make sure that my next line is greater than 90 degrees, so it's going to be outside of the template. So I'm actually going to use my straight edge just like this, and I'm going to draw a straight line from this corner, and it's going to go out from that line. And you can see that I've created an obtuse angle because the angle is larger than the right angle template, and there's this gap in between. So there's an obtuse, and then an acute, and a right angle. So there you have it, all three different types of angles: right angles, acute angles, and obtuse angles. So at this point you should be feeling pretty comfortable enough to answer all the questions in the Lesson 2 problem set. As always, if you get stuck, you can come back and re-watch any parts of the video that you need a little bit of a refresher on. And so thanks for watching, and good luck.